BlizzCon weekend is upon us. Well, not just yet, but Friday the 3rd of November and Saturday the 4th will mark BlizzCon 2023, and is also the first BlizzCon since 2019. 2020 was cancelled as the world ended, and 2021 was not in person. And yeah, this video basically is from a highly addicted World of Warcraft player who has dabbled a little bit into Diablo 3, still yet to dabble into Diablo 4, but I do have it, and I will be going into it very soon, especially now with the season being released and my guildies telling me that it's actually a good game and worth playing. So Diablo will see me very soon. This is going to be a wish list. It's all just going to be purely from rumors and leaks and good old speculation. And I am prepared, more than prepared, for a couple of these points to just be completely decimated. My hope, my dreams, my cope to just be stamped into the ground. My already brittle spirit, my already ruined expectations to just be stamped into the ground under the boot of Blizzard. But in saying that, I am quite excited since, the good old acquisition, the good old merger between Microsoft and Activision Blizzard, and Bobby Kotick being taken off, all the Blizzard staff that are like the senior ones being taken off, and the future of World of Warcraft, the future of Diablo, the future of Blizzard and its individual titles being left to the man himself, Phil Spencer. And we'll get onto Phil Spencer in the wish list. He's actually a part of it, so I'm not going to go into it too much, but yeah, let's just get straight into this. Right, so first and foremost, as I mentioned, I am not really a Diablo player. I have played Diablo 3 twice. I played as a monk and I played as a barbarian, but I was like, God, 13 or something at the time. So let's shoot Diablo. Let's get that out of the way, nice and early, nice and fast. But that's not to disrespect it. That's not to say that we're not going to take care of it. That's not to say that we're not going to care for it. This may not be my baby. This may not be my child, but it is my adopted son. And I want my adopted son to go and become the fine gentleman that they are destined to be. So, kicking off number one, I'd love for a Diablo 4 expansion to be announced or teased at the very least. That will definitely increase my plans to start playing the game. I'm going to be going to New York, and once I'm back, we've got the Christmas period, we've got new raid, we've got new season and WoW coming in. And as much as I'm going to be playing a lot of WoW, as much as I'm going to be grinding M+ so that we can raid, so that we can do normal prog, heroic prog, and maybe even mythic, finally as a guild rather than as individuals, I do want to sort of not burn out again this season, and I want to split my time based on that, right? So I want to be sort of substituting a little bit of Diablo, a little bit of M+, a little bit of Counter-Strike, a bit of Valorant, who knows, bit of anything, bit of everything. Anyways, on to number two, carrying on with Diablo. Season 3 and what it might bring. Potentially a new class. Paladin, Crusader, Priest, something like a knight, something that has, holy damage. They've got barbarians. They've got, this warrior rage-induced, I'm gonna run around and kill everything and use, uncontrollable slashes and whirlwinds and bleeds and blah, blah, blah. I feel like what better kind of damage to destroy demons, to kill demons and the undead, to purge them, than someone with holy damage. And in my opinion, a paladin, a crusader, that type of class, another melee would be wonderful. Now, of course, there is the druid class, and that is the sort of other melee class. And then, of course, rogue can play both ranged as well as melee. I think that a priest or a paladin or, crusader of some kind, maybe someone that can switch in and out of range, in and out of melee, would be perfect, would fit the whole roleplay, would fit the story, would fit the player base. And I think it's something that the player base really want. I don't think there has been a holy class, like a holy damage class, since Diablo 2, so it's definitely something that people would be excited about, and it would be something great to sort of bring back. And those are kind of just my thoughts for Diablo and a possible Diablo announcement. Of course, there will probably be other things. There's probably things that I, as a non-player, will just not know. But that's kind of like, again, wish list, right? It's my own personal preference, my own personal thing. Let's move on. Bit of a wild card here. A bit of a strange one, bit of a weird one, but it is a throwback to StarCraft 2, or just the StarCraft IP in general. I have no idea what happened to StarCraft. I remember being a young man. What I did was play the demo. I wasn't able to buy the game. I wasn't allowed to buy the game because, you know, it was like violent and mummy didn't want me to be influenced in the wrong way. But I used to watch it all the time, and I used to play the demo all the time. And seeing that like whole universe unfolding with the players, and I know it's a very loved, very niche game, but I think that this is the perfect time to bring it back. The absolute perfect time. Now this is a huge shot in the dark, but why not piggyback off the success of classic hardcore with the permadeath, immersive sort of darker hardcore kind of gaming experience like a Tarkov or Dark and Darker, and combine it into the StarCraft universe. And what I mean by that is have yourself be, you know, your character. Maybe you have like a bank character, or in Tarkov how you have like a scav and you have a mainy, and you sort of funnel equipment, you funnel funds, and you go out and you literally scavenge, you get loot, and now this is in your stash. This is your character. You've explored these tunnels, you've explored these caves, you've opened the boxes, you've killed the players, you've looted them, you've gathered that sweet loot, and now you send it to your main, and then you get stronger and stronger and stronger, and I guess maybe you have some kind of raid or something. It's not out of the realm of possibility, and I guess I just want to see something again to do with StarCraft. I want to see something to do with, you know, the sci-fi realm, the not necessarily going out No Man's Sky, Starfield, traveling in space, but just that sort of combat style with the StarCraft universe. And yeah, I don't know, I'm just kind of missing something like that. And you know what, if all else fails, just go and create a StarCraft MMO. Again, it's something that's a gap in the market. There isn't really a sci-fi MMO out there other than, I guess, Star Wars The Old Republic, or Destiny 2. But being a new player in Destiny 2 is kind of impossible because of you literally log in, you create your character, you log in, and you have 2 million different pop-ups and different things that you have to do and can do, and you're missing out on what, like 3-4 years of content now, and however many expansions. It's just impossible to catch up, and I wouldn't, as a new player right now, ever recommend something like that. But if you create a brand new StarCraft MMO, everyone's the same, right? Everyone starts at level 1. Everyone's got to create their own character, and potentially another battle royale, a StarCraft style battle royale or some sort of something, right? But then again, you know, how would it work? Would it be alongside this MMO potentially, or would it be alongside the new single player StarCraft game, or just a StarCraft 3 to compete potentially with Dota or League of Legends? You know, maybe there's an option for like another MOBA to come out. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to just see what the future potentially of StarCraft is. It's a franchise, it's an IP that I think is very unique, has its huge strengths, of course has its weaknesses, but what doesn't? And I just think it's something that can be explored, especially as now technology is improving, and most importantly, because of the acquisition. Microsoft taking over, I think, is going to be a huge thing. Phil Spencer really just wants the best games out there. Yeah, my hopes and dreams. Copium. StarCraft aside, there is another franchise, another dead game that I want to talk about before I talk about my baby World of Warcraft. Overwatch. What is going on, my guy? Like, legit, bro, what the hell is going on? I don't even know if concern is that even the right word to use for this? Are we concerned about the future of Overwatch? Is there a future of Overwatch? It is so disliked, so bad, so just a failed reskin of Overwatch 1 with some extra characters added in. They killed the esports scene. I don't even know if it's possible to actually revive the Overwatch scene. I mean, I guess it is possible because there are players out there who do want to play just a casual sort of FPS, or could I even consider an FPS when you have, you know, these other characters like Reinhardt, and I don't know, but there's got to be something, right? Something somehow where we need to have Overwatch coming back. I believe in it. I don't know how. I have absolutely no even wishes. It's just something that I wanted to kind of talk about. I guess, yeah, just drop it in the comments, you know, if I have any Overwatch fans that want something. What do you want? What could Blizzard do for you? What is needed to make Overwatch great again? And kind of similarly to Overwatch, Heroes of the Storm. Now, there is a huge wild card. Heroes of the Storm is just this huge bag, this chest of unexplored content, of unexplored gems. And you know what? This is another game, another IP, another franchise that is going to benefit so much from the Microsoft acquisition. In Heroes of the Storm, you could add potentially Master Chief, Steve from Minecraft, all sorts of different characters from Microsoft and Xbox games, you know, Xbox exclusives. I think that Heroes of the Storm, the future of Heroes of the Storm, has so much potential, so much that they could go and do, so much they could explore and make into such a great franchise moving forward. And you know what, again, I have to say it, and again, you know what, I have to say, I am so excited to see what Microsoft do, because I think that they have the power. If anyone, they have the power to make Blizzard, to make Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch 2, or just the Overwatch name, StarCraft, great again. And now, it is time. It's time to talk about my baby. Time to talk about my son, my child, my protector, my escape. World of Warcraft. Oh my god, I've been buzzing to talk about this. I've been buzzing. First and foremost, the first thing that I want to talk about, the first wish list, huge, biggest, oh Santa, come, I will sit on your lap right now and do anything for this. Classic Plus. I have been transformed into a classic Andy thanks to hardcore. Wow, hardcore classic has absolutely changed my life for the better. It makes me smile in the morning, it wakes me up. I want to wake up, I want to play, I want to check on my chat, I want to check on my characters, I want to make sure they're safe, I want to make sure that they're sound, I want to make sure that everything is secure, that I've got money, that I've got skills, that I've got everything. Oh, it's such a great experience, and it just makes me wish. It makes me wish for a Classic Plus. Blizzard, please give it to me. And I know that they're gonna decimate me. This is where my hopes and dreams are gonna fail. This is the copium. But this is what me and I think millions of other players around the world want. Classic Plus. Now, what even is a Classic Plus? I'll be real with you. I have no clue. No, so I have a couple Classic Plus suggestions. Now, someone somewhere in Blizzard maybe is going to come across this video and be like, yo, this guy's a genius. He's onto something. And you know what? Take it, please take it from my brain. I want you to implement as much good stuff into Classic Plus as possible, because I swear to God, if Classic Plus gets better than retail, that is going to be my new retail. I will switch over. I will leave my guild. I don't care. I will make my own guild, and we will be Classic Plus beasts. Basum beasts on Classic Plus. Oh. Anyways, enough creaming in my pants. Let's actually get into what I want for Classic Plus. This could be an entire video in itself, so I'm going to try and condense it and cut it down as much as possible, and probably speak about it more on stream. So, the Classic Plus experience. First and foremost, I want them to unlock the map. I want to be able to explore areas like Hyjal. I want to be able to explore areas like Uldum, or Uldum, however you pronounce it. Maybe in new raids, Karazhan. It's there. We can see it. Why can't we go in? I don't think that Classic Plus needs to be an entirely new game. I don't think it needs to be like something insane and groundbreaking and revolutionize the way that MMOs are played, or even the game of World of Warcraft, right? I think the game of World of Warcraft is so beautiful and so great, and that's why there are so many players. That's why so many people flock to it. That's why it hasn't died in over 15 years, because it is such a great game. It is such an enjoyable and fun and rich storytelling game. And I think that Classic being announced and obviously starting in 2019 was just the start of what you can do with Classic Plus. I think Classic Plus can go further. I think Classic Plus can push the limits, push the boundaries a little bit. Some of these areas you don't see for years. Let's take this into consideration. World of Warcraft, original release. Classic, when it was retail, was released in 2005. You don't get to see Kultyrus until BFA. You don't get to see Hyjal until Cataclysm. You don't get to see Icecrown, Northrend at all until Wrath. Warcraft 3 covers all of this stuff. You don't get to see Draenor. You don't get to see, like, there's so many areas that can be seen, that need to be seen. And you know what Classic is? The difference between Classic and retail is Classic is about the 1 to 60 journey. It is about the leveling journey, the leveling experience, the story, the traveling from place to place to place, the killing of different mobs to see what's going on in this area, what's going on in that area. Because then when you do get to 60, the raids mean so much more. The story is so rich and you're a part of it. Your character is literally a part of the story. In retail, the game is go to max level and then the game begins. Whereas in Classic, the game begins at level 1. At least that's been my experience of it, and that's why I love it. Classic Plus does not need to be a total reset. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. It just needs to build on everything that we currently have. I will be making another video about Classic Plus and a proper Classic Plus wish list where I delve into like the meat and potatoes and chicken and the filling of this huge sandwich taco. Oh, Classic Plus. But that's kind of like my overview of what I want. You know, being able to explore new zones, maybe new races, maybe some of the new classes if we do get potential Northrend. Maybe Death Knights are part of what we have. Maybe we, you know, have human hunters, some of the race class combinations that we discovered in Kata. Certain races being able to be hunters and mages, potentially giving us Draenei, or maybe some different races. Maybe we go Classic Plus, Marvel What If. We flip the world on its head. We enter the multiverse of Blizzard. We go into Gilneas. We cure the Worgen. We get Worgen as a playable race. We get Blood Elves because they are there. You know, maybe those are the two new races. Maybe the Draenei don't come. Maybe the Exodar hasn't crash landed into Azeroth this time. We go into Kultyrus. We get the Kultirans. We get the Zandalari. You know, there's so much that we can explore within the continent of Azeroth. We don't actually have to even leave within the world of Azeroth. We don't need to leave. We don't even need to leave certain continents. We could literally keep everything in Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms and just add races from there. It would still work and it would still be really balanced, class-wise, race-wise, and faction-wise. So yeah, that is my hope for Classic Plus. That is my hope for World of Warcraft Classic. Secondly, another thing I'm super buzzing about, hopes and speculation for 11.0 and WoW's next expansion. I think that everything leading up to this point in retail has pointed us towards a Void Lords expansion at the end somehow, right? Maybe this is the lead up to a WoW 2. This is how the game finally ends and we get a huge, you know, the big reset. I don't know. I don't know what the direction is. I don't know which way they're going, but everything that has happened so far to do with the Titans, to do with the Jailer, the dragon aspects and the dragon wars, like the leaks of cosmic weapons and the Void and the Naru and my holy mummy Irel, however her name is pronounced. We are about to be on the precipice of a massive battle, not just as the Horde and the Alliance, but as the forces of Azeroth against the forces of the Unknown. Now, this seems like every single expansion, and that is fair to say, but this time around, I do think that it's going to be something different, something a lot more deadly, something that literally could spell the end of reality, you know? The Jailer was kind of almost there, but we stopped him. But I think that the way they're loading everything, the way that things are going with people, certain big names who used to be the bad guy turning and coming on our side, I think that there is a very big possibility for some huge Void Lords Titan gaming shit going on. I think we're gonna go to the beginning, or rather to the end, and I think, I'm so ready. There was a leak, quotation mark leak, of this image, but it was disproved. Well, it was disproved by a Twitter user, so it might still be real, or maybe not, potentially. But I hope it's not. The zone looks super bleak and super boring. Blizzard are known to do things like that, so I do hope that this isn't real, but you never know. I do hope that Microsoft pushing the best games, Microsoft will push Blizzard to make this a great expansion, an expansion to remember. People are in tier lists calling Dragonflight one of the best expansions. For me, I think it's super boring. I had a lot of fun in Shadowlands. Even though there was a massive content drought, I did have a lot of fun. I didn't find the M+ boring and monotonous. I didn't find just like, the dailies and world quest grind of grinding reputation boring and monotonous. I hate it. I despise it in Dragonflight. None of my characters have max reps. None of my characters have any real Mythic Plus rating. I think my highest is a 2.6k on my Brewmaster. I just got bored. Of Dragonflight and this season, and maybe it's just me. Maybe the game is great, but I do feel that this burnout, this strange, weird monotony and every day being the same thing has kind of worn off on a lot of people, not just myself. So I think that that's definitely gonna be, or got to be, addressed in the next expansion. And Blizzard are good enough. They can do this, and the game does have a chokehold on us. It has our balls in a vice, and we will return like the cuck lords that we are. And they do hemorrhage our wallets once a month with that sub, and we will continue to pay it no matter what, because let's face it, we're slaves to the world of Warcraft. And that's another great segue into something that I want to talk about with the subscription price and potential changes, maybe expectations, maybe wishes. I'm not too sure. The merger has been completed between Activision Blizzard and Microsoft. Potentially WoW is going to be on Game Pass. And what does that mean? That means that Game Pass is either the WoW sub is going to be completely gone and all people have to do is pay for Game Pass, and Game Pass is currently a lot cheaper than a WoW monthly sub. So either the Game Pass is going to go up or a WoW monthly sub is going to go down, because people are going to pay for one or the other, assuming that they add WoW into Game Pass. What this also means is, the curious possibility of World of Warcraft coming to Xbox. I don't personally own an Xbox, but that would be something brilliant, because capitalist mentality, right? You want to grow the player base. You want to get as many people paying and playing as possible. True capitalists won't even care about the playing part. They care about the paying part. But I do think that Microsoft and their track record should hopefully speak for itself and allow for the player part, the players to actually enjoy the game too. And it is so cool seeing them being a lot more open to community driven events, championing streamers, championing online communities on Twitch, on YouTube. And yeah, I think it's just an exciting time to be a World of Warcraft player, because there is so much change, so much good change on the horizon, and we can just taste it. We can just, it's right in our grasp. It's all gonna be revealed, hopefully, on the 3rd and 4th of November. I want to throw something out there. I'm interested in the possibility of a Warcraft 4. I'm interested in the possibility of a new game that is, of course, attached and tied to the story of World of Warcraft, with Warcraft 1, 2, 3 and the MMO itself, but is completely different, takes on a different approach, maybe explores a different part of the lore, something new, something spicy, something brand new, some fresh meat to sink our gamer teeth into. And maybe alongside, And maybe alongside Warcraft 4, they could explore something different, something that was kind of leaked, but also not. It was like a weird speculation rumor thing, and something that I spoke about during my Dragonflight React video on the different channel. You can just do things like this, kind of similar to like the Dota 2 anime, and it's worked. People enjoy it. People really like it. Netflix, I think there's like a 3rd season already. And yes, it is a WoW show, a WoW anime, or a WoW movie, or something to I just think with the success of Dota, of League of Legends, of anime in general, of people just watching it, people being a lot more open to watching animes, or just animated series in general, taking over Netflix, the streaming services. I think this would be the perfect time to also, not only you're marketing a potential new expansion, Warcraft 4, which maybe goes into it, which maybe talks more about the events of Warcraft 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to market a show. I mean, this is profit, this is money. I hate capitalism, but this is a capitalist's wet dream. This is insane marketability. You're having a show which ties into a video game, which ties into an MMO video game as well, where people pay money to subscribe every month. Like, this is just like money, money, money. On top of that, I'm not even speaking about like the Comic-Cons, the potential costumes and cosplayers and esports events that could be happening. And that's a perfect segue into the part of the MMOs which I think has been overlooked the last couple of years: the PvP, the esports. I mean, World of Warcraft has PvP unlike almost any other game. The problem with it though is the balancing of classes, making PvP pretty much rock, paper, scissors, especially in arenas, 2v2s, 3v3s, the old school 5v5s, and of course RBGs. The day before this video came out, OTK ran a 2-day Mutgara tournament. Technically, it was a 1-a-month tournament where they gave players an entire month, 30 days, to level a character fresh on the classic hardcore servers, level 1 to 60, get the best gear, grind out the best gear, the best professions, the best everything that they could, and then they fought to the death. Hardcore. So all those hours that you grinded on that character, gone if you lose that fight. Hardcore duels, fight to the death, Mutgara, strength and honor, for the potential winnings of 100,000 American dollars. The way they split it was a bit obviously different. It wasn't that the winner got 100,000, but the winner did get 50. And then the other 50,000 was split between the top of each class. So, top warrior got 6,250, top rogue, top mage, top warlock, top shaman, top druid. This was for sure probably the biggest prize pool a World of Warcraft event has ever gotten, like a World of Warcraft esport, right? Because this is an esport, it's PvP. And I think also one of the highest viewerships. The problem with esports in World of Warcraft is that arenas, just PvP in general, hasn't really been tended to, hasn't really been looked after by Blizzard properly. In order to be a good PvP player, you need to have WoW as a second job. If you're not a streamer, if you're not a content creator, being a PvPer in WoW right now is almost impossible. Of course, you can do it, but it is really, really hard. It's super time consuming. It doesn't make sense to really focus on it too much. And it also doesn't really give you much. It doesn't give you anything actually, really. Mythic Plus grinds, you could probably spend an hour a day, maybe 2 hours a day. In fact, I know some of the main M Plus pushers push on a Saturday, or they push over the course of 2 days on a weekend, and you can end up getting the best gear, the highest ratings, a mount, a title, and just bragging rights, just actual bragging rights, being able to say that you've done a certain dungeon in a certain time, or the highest key level in a certain time. And that's something that even I can brag about, being not a super serious hardcore player, but more than a casual. I ended up being world 114 Holy Paladins at the end of Shadowlands, top 50 EU, and second on my realm, and world 75th for Horde. It's something I'm proud of, and something that I didn't actually have to grind hours and hours and hours of my life away for. I was able to maintain social relationships, I was able to go to work, I was able to go on holidays and do stuff, right? Things that I would just never be able to do with PvP. Also, a great thing about M+, you can do it at almost any item level, as long as you have a decent team with you. I've been carried by my guildies on fresh 70s on a couple dungeons, and then before you know it, you're already geared up and you're able to raid, you're able to almost do the highest level content within a week of sort of, you know, grinding if you really wanted to, and that could obviously be stretched over a week or 2 weeks. The problem with PvP is you can't even get started, you can't even get into it. Before the patch, you needed to have a second person to actually be able to queue arenas. Now you can solo queue, but God, who wants to solo queue fucking arenas? I know I wouldn't want to be doing 2v2s with somebody that I can't actually communicate with over Discord and set up plays and do things like that. Which means that people like me who don't really have someone to play arenas with right now, because I'm no longer 10 or 11 years old, and I don't have friends like that, basically, that play the game. Really no mates. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, like, there is no way for me to get into PvP seriously. I cannot then join rated battlegrounds because I don't have high rated PvP gear. I can't get PvP gear because I don't have PvP actual, like, viable characters, because I don't have any PvP gear on any of my characters. And it's this weird sort of vicious cycle of not being able to PvP because I want to PvP, but I just can't because it's impossible, right? Unless you go into it, you basically have to make a choice early on in the season. Are you going to PvE or are you going to PvP? Do you want to raid an M+, or do you want to PvP and kill other characters? And dueling doesn't give that same sort of level of anything. It's only arenas, only one way to actually do the PvP thing properly. And you can't do it properly if you don't have the resources, the friends, the know-how. It's a tough world out here. So I really hope that Blizzard learned from this Mark Garra tournament OTK have hosted. And credit to them, credit to Zayu, credit to S-Fan, credit to everybody involved, because they did a fucking amazing job. They did an amazing job making it super watchable, super exciting. They had great segments with, you know, interviews, and it's something that I really, really wish that they hold on to, something that I hope that they learn from, and maybe make their M+ or PvP tournaments a bit more like that, a bit more interactive, a bit more community driven, a bit more community led. I think that who's the best person to run events for the community, right? The player base that plays your game. And I think that this is something that Blizzard need to take moving forward. And with Microsoft basically at the helm, I think that this is actually something that is very, very viable. Maybe not immediately, but definitely by the time the next expansion is released. And very quickly, just before I move on from M+ PvP, I think there needs to be a way for M+ and PvP to kind of have like an equal level. And what I mean by that is you cannot get any vicious saddles by doing M+ content, the same way that you can't get certain levels of gear by just doing PvP. Of course, you're gonna make, this is a wish that is gonna make some people, or so many people, unhappy. The PvPers who want to gatekeep PvP are going to be unhappy, and the M+ers who want to gatekeep PvE and running dungeons as fast as possible and being gigachads are going to be unhappy. But I think that there needs to be a way for there to be a crossover. Of course, don't give the top-rated M+ guy the same thing, the same reward as the top-rated 2v2 person, right? Or the top-rated 3v3 team. But there needs to be a way for there to be some kind of crossover that maybe I just want the mount. And I'll be real with you, some of those PvP mounts are fucking sexy. Some of those PvP mounts I would drop my pants for and just come. But I can't. Even if I were to start PvPing right now, I fall into that vicious cycle of not being able to do it properly because no one wants me. I don't know anyone that's going to start with me fresh from 0 rating. And I definitely am not going to pay for a boost or a carry. I could, but I don't want to. I want to do this myself. I want to do the hard work. But I need to be able to do the hard work, which I can't. And it's I don't know how to. I don't even know how you would circumvent this problem and get around it. But yeah, I just want the rewards to be a bit more accessible, a bit more whole, a bit more both sides. Keep titles, keep top rated things for the top rated players of each of their own separate things. Separate those things 100%. But I think things like mounts, things like gear, things like tokens to upgrade gear or swapping gear out, PvP gear, PvE gear, I think definitely needs to have more of a crossover, and it needs to be a lot more accessible to players of each side, not just one. So yeah, to summarize, I am super excited for BlizzCon. I am super excited for the announcements, for the event itself, for everything that comes with it. I think it's going to be a huge insight into what is coming. Even if it's not in the next few months, patch-wise, of course, we have the new season in WoW coming out. We have hopefully a new season in Diablo coming out. But definitely in the next couple of years, definitely we're going to get some kind of roadmap for hopefully each of their different IPs and different franchises that they have, and maybe even some insight into some of the new things that are going to be coming out, potentially with regards to that new survival game that they have. And of course, the biggest thing, this is a wish list. Some of this stuff just will not come true at all, and I am prepared. And I don't want to puff on that copium a bit too hard and be disappointed come Friday, come Saturday. But I am, and I cannot express how excited I am for the first time to actually be like a Blizzard product enjoyer, a Blizzard product player. And you know what, worst come to worst, I will still be there on my hardcore classic characters grinding. I'll still be there on my Wrath classic characters grinding. And I'll still be there with the guild raiding twice a week, Wednesday and Sunday, on my retail characters too. So, that being said, thank you so much for watching. Please like the video, smash the sub button, share your own wish lists in the comments below, and most of all, stay safe. Take care.